Hi students, this is Mrs. Nelson. We're looking at Illustrative Math for 8th grade, Unit 1, Lesson 2, Activity 2, How Did You Make That Move? So in the text, we're just given these series of images and we're asked to describe what moves that we see. So I put the image in Google Slides so that I could use the polyline tool and also type on the screen. So you'll notice that on your toolbar you have this line segment right here, and if you click that drop down arrow then you can choose the polyline tool, and the polyline tool lets you form any kind of polygon that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to trace this polygon that's on here. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided polygon. It's a hexagon. So I'm going to trace that hexagon simply by clicking on the vertices, each vertex. So I'm going to try to be as close as I possibly can, but I might not be perfect, and that's okay. So I'm going to click on each of those. And now I've created a copy. So that gray copy, it's kind of similar to the background, so I want to make it a little more obvious what I'm looking at. So I'm going to pick out a picture that's easier to see, or a color that's easier to see. So from going from step 1 to step 2, it looks like that all I did was drag it to the right. And so that first move is just moving to the right. Now that it's in that position, I see that we've gone back to the left, but notice that like this nose-like part, because I kind of imagine it like a person, this like nose part isn't pointing up to the left, it's now pointing up to the right. So it didn't just move left, it did something. I'm not sure how to describe that, so I'm just going to call it new move for right now, because you can see that those don't look exactly the same. Something else has happened. So now I'm just going to have to leave this here and trace this new one so that I can see what the new move is. So I'm going to do the same thing. Click on all those vertices using that polyline tool. And again, change that color. I'm going to change it to something different. Oh, no, that's the same as what it looked like before. So now I'm going to see if I can describe what the move is here. So it was looking like that before, but it looks like I rotated it. So I can use that rotator dot, and you can see that I just rotated it. I spin it just a little bit more. So it looks like I rotated it, and if you click on that dot as you're moving it, it tells you the degrees that you moved it. It looks like I rotated it 90 degrees. So rotate 90, and if you want the degree symbol, you have to come up here to Insert, Special Characters, and then you can draw what it looks like, or you can describe what it looks like, and then you can find those special characters. So if that's how you want to type it, you can. Rotate 90 degrees, which direction was that? So it was like this, and we turned it in the direction of the clock. So 90 degrees clockwise. Alright, so we've got it 90 degrees clockwise, and it looks like in this next move, we just moved up. So that's easy, move up. Okay, so now it was up here in image number 5, but then if I move it down, it's that same new move. Same new move we saw before, because you can notice that those top highest vertices are not pointing the same direction. So it's that same new move. Well, let's talk about what that new move is. So I am going to change the slide so that you can see some extra pieces on here. So what I did was I put in these dotted lines, because what that move is, what happened is that it is flipping over, reflected over that dotted line. So this right here was like, it's like it's looking in the mirror. So it's looking in the mirror and it sees itself in the mirror and everything's reversed. So that's called a reflection. So I'm going to trace that, and I'm going to show you how you can do that with your Google Slides, so that you can see that it's a rotation, or excuse me, a reflection. So if you right click on your shape, if you right click on your shape, there is an option for rotate. And I don't, you can rotate clockwise and counterclockwise, which is awesome. But then this isn't really a rotation, this is a reflection. You can flip it horizontally or flip it vertically. So I'm going to choose horizontally so you can see what that looks like. So if I choose flip horizontally, it's as if I flipped it over right across a horizontal plane. So to me it's kind of hard because I'm imagining to myself I want to flip it over this vertical line, but to flip it over the vertical line I have to choose to flip horizontally. So in my mind it's hard. I sometimes just have to try the one and see if it did what I wanted to and then try the other one instead. But notice when I chose that flip option, that's a reflection, the math term is reflection, notice that it does in fact match up with that shape. So I'm going to come down here and instead of using the rotation dot, I'm going to choose again that option that we had. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. And it should be pretty close to lining up now. I just had to drag it into the right place. Now, to get this one down here, it looks like I'm looking in the mirror. Looks like this guy, this blue guy, is looking in the mirror and seeing the green guy. So I'm going to choose again to right click, rotate, and this time I'm going to flip vertically. Again, it makes no sense because I'm flipping it over a horizontal line segment, but I don't understand how that was chosen or why. I'm sure someone smarter than me is like, oh yeah, duh, it's this. But flip vertically, and then you'll notice that if I drag it down here, that it lines up. So the computer doesn't know what I want to flip it over. Doesn't know that line of symmetry. Doesn't know that, or that line of reflection, excuse me. Doesn't know what line I want to use to flip it over, so it literally flips it in its place. So on your tasks today and tomorrow and such, if you have to use that tool, if you have to flip horizontally or vertically and drag, it doesn't mean that you had to move it down and flip it. It's okay if that's how you think about it, but it's really because the computer has no idea what line that I want to use as my mirror line, as my reflection line. So that's why I have to flip it and then drag it. So again, that polyline tool is up here on this toolbar. It does look like a line segment until you use that drop-down box. And then you can click on all the vertices, and then once you've done that, oh, now it's going to make me make something. Once you've done that, you can use the rotation tools. If you right-click on the shape, you can rotate clockwise and counterclockwise, especially if you're like having a hard time of labeling in your mind or figuring out in your mind which direction did it turn. This will also help you recognize clockwise and counterclockwise. And then you can flip it horizontally and vertically. Know that these are ways to reflect it. Reflect it, and it may not work out in your brain just like mine. It may not work out that you can pick the one that you want the first time. You may have to try over, undo, Command Z, or Control Z, excuse me, use Chromebooks, and then do it again. All right, well, thanks for learning that with me and learning the tools in Google Slides so that you can use those anytime that you want to as well.